What's up guys, welcome back to Toon Duelists. Today I'm going to show you some basic combos you can do with this Chimera-Deck, link in the description if you want to check that out. We're also going to draw some test hands today to see what we can do in various situations. And yeah, I'd say let's dive right into it. Okay guys, to be honest, there's only really one combo you need to know playing this deck. All you need is either Cornfield Codal or Mirror Sword Knight. The combo works even better with Cornfield Codal, so I'm just going to pretend this is the card in my hand and show you the combo. You use the effect, you discard it and add one Mirror Sword Knight to your hand. Then you normal Mirror Sword Knight, using his effect to tribute him to get out Big Wing Baphomet. On summon, he will give you Chimera Fusion and Mythical Claws on your hand, and you can instantly fusion summon with these two guys to go into your Chimera, King of the Phantom Beasts. Of course, on this point you can also go with the same two monsters into your Baphomet, the Mythical King of Phantom Beasts, but going first, rather King of the Phantom Beasts, he's the better choice if you ask me. Then we can trigger various effects, and you can also chain block them because we activate 3 effects right now. The unsummoned effect of Chimera is your opponent has to discard one random card at the end of your turn. The effect of Baphomet lets you special summon one of your illusion monsters from grave, and Mythical Claws lets you add one illusion monster from your deck to your hand. So you can decide which effect is the most important to you. I personally say chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. His effect is the least useful if you ask me. We can add, for example, our Nightmare Magician directly from the deck to our hand. Then with Baphomet we can bring back Mirror Sword Knight, and of course our opponent will have to discard one random card at the end of your turn, which is also crazy good. Next thing we're going to do is activate Chimera Fusion's effect in your grave and add it back to your hand, since we control Chimera, the flying mythical beast. So let's just say you end your turn right here. You will have one negate in your graveyard, which is Cornfield Codal. Any targeting effect can be negated with him because we have our Chimera, the flying mythical beast, on your field. What you can do, you can also set your Chimera Fusion. Once your opponent draws, you can go even further. You can just tribute Mirror Sword Knight and do the whole thing over again. Bring out Baphomet, search Gazelle, and search Chimera Fusion, which is just crazy if you ask me. So, and from here on out, it really depends what you want to do. With the new fusion monster we got, you could go, for example, activate your Chimera Fusion in your opponent's main phase to fuse those two, going into this bad boy, Baphomet, the Mythical King of Phantom Beasts, which can then mill you another illusion monster or beast or fiend monster from your deck to your grave, which can also be very useful. Or if you don't want to do this, you can also go into another one of those, of course, or you just go with the Nightmare Magician in your hand and your Chimera into Magnum, which is also great because now you have your Nightmare Magician in your graveyard and you have your Chimera in the graveyard. So anytime now you can just banish this one during your opponent's turn to bring out your Nightmare Magician. And this card is really a nightmare for your opponent, trust me. You also still have the interruption of Magnum, and you have to keep in mind you only played one card. You still have 4 other cards in your hand. I tell you, this combo is groundbreaking. So that's basically the one combo you need to remember, using only Mirror Sword Knight or Cornfield Codal. And now I'd say it's time for some test hands. Okay guys, let's go with test hand number 1. We have Imperm, Mirror Sword Knight, Super Poly, Tau, and another Imperm. Okay, so first you're normal summoning Mirror Sword Knight. Using his effect, tribute him to special summon out Big Wing Baphomet. Big Wing Baphomet will activate its effect, adding you Chimera Fusion and Gazelle. So next thing you could do, for example, is activating Chimera Fusion with your Gazelle to go into Chimera, King of Phantom Beasts. Going first, this is always a great option just because of the discarding effect. Really good. Then of course we'll have the typical chains. Baphomet will bring back Mirror Sword Knight, and Gazelle will add an illusion monster from our deck to our hand, which will be Nightmare Magician. Then we will bring back our Chimera Fusion with its own effect, and then we set our Chimera Fusion, and we let her, of course, we'll also set one Imperm and the Super Poly, of course, second Imperm won't do much, and we give it to our opponent. But once he draws, we do several things. First of all, activate Mirror Sword Knight, bringing out another Big Wing Baphomet. So I think now you get the idea why I say please run 3 Big Wings. They're totally good for it. This will add us those 2 again. And from this point on, you basically can do various things. You still have 1 Chimera Fusion, so you can do plenty of things. Let's say you can even go into your Magnum using your Chimera, and I would recommend Nightmare Magician, for example. If you do this, let's just pretend you do. You have your Magnum out with his Disruption and popping a card during your opponent's turn, but also you can banish your king to bring out Nightmare Magician, which is a horrific field. You still have your, oh no, that's the Imperm. You still have your Super Polymerization. You have 2 dark monsters on the field already, and one of them is a fiend, so I guess whatever the opponent does, you will have any target to go into your Super Polymerization, which is very cool. And I guess going first, this would be my recommendation, but let's just turn back for a moment. Let's say you didn't get Magnum. Your hand looked like this. You can also go with your Chimera Fusion into your new card, Baphomet, the mythical King of Phantom Beasts, using again those 2, Beast and Illusion Monster, so no problem with that. On summon, you can send to your graveyard 1 Cornfield Codal. Why Cornfield Codal? Because with our Mirror Sword Knight, where is he? There he is. And Codal, we have 2 negations, and we can still banish this card to bring out Nightmare Magician again. Also very awesome card, or a very awesome board. And yeah, the last option, which I wouldn't really recommend, to be honest, but it can be good too, would be to go into Chimera, the Illusion Beast, by using this card, and again Nightmare Magician and Tau, the Great Chanter. Great thing about this is once you use Tau and he's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon out your Nightmare Magician right away. He will have 3 attacks, which is really good. Not perfect, 4 would be the thing we're going for, but still really good. And you can still choose to use your King's effect to bring out, let's say, Mirror Sword Knight again if you needed to. I don't really see a use in it, but hey, you never know what your opponent does. Could be useful, and you still have Super Polymerization on your field. So as you can see, and of course, Monster Negate the Imperm. But yeah, I don't even need to mention that because this board is so strong. Once your opponent attacks, you pop a card with Nightmare Magician. If he attacks a Nightmare Magician, you take control of this monster. Those two can't even be destroyed by battle, so you can't do anything about them with battle. If he's dumb enough to go into your Chimera, his effects will be negated and the attack becomes 0. It's crazy, and you still have the monster effect protection with Mirror Swords Knight. As you can see, you build crazy boards with this. That's it for test hand number 1. Let's get into test hand number 2. So, test hand number 2, let's see what we can do. Alright. Okay, we can work with that. First, we're going to discard Cornfield to search Mirror Sword Knight, which we're going to normal summon. Then we're going to tribute him, bring out Berthamead. Berthamead is going to bring us Gazelle and another Chimera Fusion. And this is the point where it's really important to mention that you can use Chimera Fusion multiple times per turn to fusion summon, but you can only bring it back from the graveyard once per turn. That's the important part. So of course we're going with those two again. And if we're going first, I'm still recommending this bad boy, Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts. We do the same thing again. We activate Gazelle, activate Berthamead, activate him. Your opponent has to discard. Berthamead brings back Mirror Sword Knight. And Gazelle adds you any illusion monster, let's say Tau in this instance. Then of course we're going to add that Chimera Fusion using its own effect. And from here on out we again have plenty of options. First of all, we could use another Chimera Fusion to just go nuts with 3 illusion monsters and Chimera, and going to our boss monster, Chimera the Illusion Beast. He now has 4 attacks, and because we use Tau, we can instantly special summon out Nightmare Magician, which is also just insane. And during our opponent's turn, we could even banish Chimera to bring out Mirror Sword Knight to do the whole thing with his effect again. So it's really awesome. Of course, you're going to set Imperm, you're going to set Super Polymerization, and you still have 1 Chimera Fusion left. You can still go on from here. So also this hand again, crazy. Of course, you also have the option to not go into him. Keep him on the board, him on the field, and those in hand. Instead, you could of course also use Chimera Fusion and Nightmare Magician and from hand and him from field to go into Magnum. Then you can use Magnum's effect, shuffling back, let's say Chimera Fusion, the only fusion spell we have in our grave so far, to draw another card. Wow, which would be actually kind of a good choice, because now we can use Patchwork, search a Poly, search an Imp. So now, for example, we can activate Polymerization using Tau and the Imp, because Fiend and Illusion monsters conditions are met for the new card Berthamead, the Mythical King of Phantom Beasts. On summon, we can then use 2 effects, his and Chain Imp. Because it's sent to the graveyard, we can actually add a Frightfur spell, and because Tau is sent to the graveyard, we can bring back the Nightmare himself, Nightmare Magician. We add another Frightfur Patchwork, which is only important for the next turn actually, and we can still send 1 card to the graveyard. Let's say you want to keep your Mirror Sword Knight on the field, I'd recommend to put 1 in the grave. So, because he is still treated as Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, You have Cornfield Codal and Mirror Salt Knight for negates in your grave. You then still have the Chimera Fusion on your... I'm telling you, this deck is just crazy. You still have a Chimera Fusion you can use instantly in your opponent's main phase. You can then, for example, I don't know, use... Where is he? Use his effect, banish him to special summon out any of our monsters here. For example, Big Wing Baphomet to search again. And if you fusion summon using him, you can then use his effect to bring a Chimera back. So it's just awesome. Let's just say you end with this board. You will have Nightmare Magician, can be destroyed by battle, and can potentially take control of a monster. And once your opponent attacks anything, you can pop a card. You'll have Magnum, which can also pop a card. You'll have Baphomet on your field. You'll have a Super Polymerization. You have a Monster Effect Negation here. You have a Monster Effect Negation here. You can negate a targeting effect. It's crazy. And again, you can still you can still tribute your Mirror Salt Knight to bring out another Baphomet, adding the whole thing over again. It's crazy. And that's why I say you don't need Branded for this deck. You don't need Runic. You can play pure Chimera and it's still so good. So guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it and I was able to show you how crazy this deck can be. And of course, for me personally, the fact that it's a Chimera deck that basically goes back way to the OG days with Yugi just warms my heart. Love those kind of archetypes. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. We're just getting started and we have so much in store for you. You don't want to miss that. So hit that bell so you don't miss any of our content. And yeah, until next time, have a good one.